I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good.
We've just arrived in Tirana. We're now in the bus station cafe, and we're just figuring out how we're going to get onto our next place. But we've just a little bit of news saying that the bathroom has a problem in the next place we're staying at, and we don't know what is going to happen, whether we can go or not really. So we've got some coffee and some food. So we've got that, 2 burraks, and it was £1, so 160 lek.
It's 1 o'clock. We were due to check in at Airbnb at 3 o'clock, so we knew we had 2 hours to spare. We were going to plan on walking there, but map showed me that I were on a bus station here, and I'm tracing the map on the phone. It looks as if we're in a bus station up here instead. So we don't even know where we are, and we don't know if we can stay at the place we've booked. So it's a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, won't we?
So we have to figure it out.
We've arrived in Tirana just in time for the Easter parades. So we've got to the main square in Tirana this morning, and basically it's a bit of a building site. They're redoing the whole square, so you can't actually get in there. So we're going to have to look at it in a different way slightly.
Not only can't you get in it, you've got to go round it, and we reckon it's 4 times size at Peasall, so every time you want to go anywhere, instead of just going across the square, you've got to figure out which 3 sides you're going to go down before you get where you're going. And last night we went completely long way around because it was dark and we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah, we've not got very good at that.
Well, we only just got here, haven't we? But the lady that we were supposed to be booked in for at £9 a night blobbed on us, telling us that her toilet were broken. She booked us into this hostel, except we've got a double room and it's massive with a piano and a library and massive kitchens and everything, and we seem to have the place completely to ourselves. I negotiated a price for what was it, £16 a night.
Yeah.
This morning we had his breakfast, and then there are all these bloody brioche and chocolate eclairs and all these fancy cakes.
Jeff would have bloody loved it, wouldn't he?
And breakfasts apparently were included, even though I'd forced the price down, so I felt a bit rotten then. So we've had 2 breakfasts. We're going on cable car up Mount Daitit, we think it's called. A combined ticket with bunk out for this afternoon for about £7. We're not exactly sure of what's going to happen today. We can say that most.
Yeah, that's pretty familiar though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you set off in the flats in the middle of the town and then head up into the hills.
I'm sweltered.
Yeah, it's quite warm today, even though it don't look it.
Yeah.
It's about 22, 23, something like that. So it's actually a quarter of an hour cable car ride, which is longer than most ones that you take. And I think we're going to end up right up on the hill there where that little dome is. We found our first sort of line of bunkers that are in the woods here. And they go off into distance down there. There's probably, what is it, 5 or 6 of them. It's quite weird because they're just like tucked away into woods. There is a military base further on, so they're probably protecting the access to the military base. We've walked on from the cable car, and the views are great, but it's sort of tarnished a bit by sort of all this lot. It's like anywhere you can possibly sit is just full of crap. You know, people are just bringing stuff up here and dumping it. You know, they're having picnics and just throwing stuff off at sides, which is really unfortunate because it's such a nice place. And you've got lovely views like this, but it sort of takes the pleasure out of it slightly. This is the panorama bar. We're just going to have a drink here, I think. But this is why it's called the panorama bar.
But,
yeah.
you know.
Not bad, is it?
Can you find clock tower?
Don't know. We're setting off back down now. This bit looks interesting. Hey.
It's not even that bit that's the steepest bit, it's after this one. So I'm watching it on way up.
Yeah. Hey, this bit's proper steep. Grief, that is steep, isn't it, that? Our next bit of visit is Bunk Art. I'm going to walk down into this tunnel here, and this is where we're going. It's an old Cold War bunker, and as far as we know, it's got an art gallery at the other end of it. It's all a bit sort of post-apocalyptic round here. It looks like sort of after the bomb's gone off. So at least we're at the entrance now. It's just a great big concrete slab. And there's been these entrances as we've been coming up as well, so it should be interesting. So this is the way in. They're fairly solid doors then, they're made out of concrete. A bit like the blast doors on the bomb shelters in the kibbutz. So this is the way that you carry on. This is actually a decontamination room where you can get showered off if you get contaminated outside. You come through here. And this is the entrance. This is Enver Hodge's office, so he'd have been nice and safe tucked away in here if anything had happened. bathroom, isn't it? Apparently this was filmed in 1980. In the centre of Tirana. It looks like one of these things that you get now in North Korea when they're showing all the gear off. Massive place. I wasn't expecting this. Another venue for the Halifax Film Society. It's quite bizarre because even though we're down here, they've got boxes upstairs and they've got like circling stalls. Weird. It was pointing towards the exit here, but it's further away than we thought it was going to be, and it's not the only way to go. They got really into painting the blocks bright colours, so we're down here by the market. They've modernised everything around here, but they've kept up the sort of tradition of keeping them really brightly coloured. We've just been in the mosque here, and the main square, there's quite a lot of work going on. There's all the main sort of buildings around this square, and they've absolutely taken it to bits, and they're going to they're rebuilding it all. Probably just right for when everyone else comes rather than us. This is the Tirana Art Gallery, and we're just having a look around the area in front of it, and this is one of the installations that they've actually got in the garden. And you can actually go into it and climb about on it. Yeah, quite good, isn't it? interesting if you've been. We're walking into one of the biggest squares now, and there's what's called the pyramid, which is that great big thing over there with kids climbing all over it. It used to be a mausoleum for Enver Hoxha that was designed by his daughter once he died, but it's become quite sort of decrepit now. And there's just kids climbing all over it, which is quite bizarre. Yeah, it's pretty wicked that. It's wrecked. They're doing a lot of the other stuff up, but this doesn't look to be a priority by the looks of things.